Correct. Is it Caleb from Wyoming? Please correct me if I'm wrong.
It's Caleb. I was a little, I guess, nervous first time calling, and I kind of misspelled the pseudonym. So
No problem. That is okay. Caleb, welcome to Truth Wanted. You are live with us. Yeah. How are you doing? Feeling a little better?
oh yeah, I'm a long time listener, first time caller. So
Great.
just got a little nervous.
Great.
Fantastic.
Well, no reason to be nervous. We are absolutely here to talk to you. So I see that you did put in here that you wanted to try to figure out how to keep from being in an echo chamber with certain topics that have nuance. That's an interesting thought there. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I'm from the great state of Wyoming that some people don't believe exists, but it's also a very politically one-sided state. So a lot of the beliefs here are very hardcore Christian, hardcore science denying and stuff like that. So like a lot of the big topics, I have no problem with. Evolution exists. I don't believe that there's a God. I believe in trans rights. That's actually one I'll get to in a second. That, out here is a very touchy topic to go into. But with some more nuanced stuff like, say, GMOs or, we're a big coal country out here. So the use of coal and the negative effects of it. Most people out here, anytime I try to bring stuff up, they just go into how wrong I am. And I understand from their side, they're in an echo chamber. All that they hear is, how Christian everything should be, how anti-science a lot of the stuff is. I'm not going to get into political because I understand nonprofit organizations and stuff like that. But how I'm just trying to make sure that as myself, I'm not catching myself in an echo chamber, especially with like YouTube algorithms and Google algorithms and such. If I'm looking up a topic, it automatically starts bringing me right back into that same topic and my standpoint on that same topic. So I guess just, again, first time calling, might be all over the place a little bit, but just trying to figure out the best way to make sure that I'm taking the proper approach to making sure that what I feel is the correct and scientific approach is the right way to do it.
What a great and noble pursuit there, Caleb. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. If everybody in this country had the same idea as you, we'd have less problems in the world. We really would. So I have a degree in communication studies, which is laughably useless for most people in most situations. But this is the one thing that I can kind of talk about a little bit. And I'll give you a little secret here. One of the ways that it has helped me in terms of understanding echo chambers, understanding news sources, a lesson I learned from my media studies classes in college. Before I was in college, I didn't really read news. Really? I mean, I read headlines every once in a while, but I didn't have a consistent habit of reading the news. But having a consistent habit of reading the news and being taught that gave me a better insight into how news production works and how the actual processes are made and what the market of news looks like. And I'll give you an exact thing of what I mean and what you can do in practice for yourself is that for every news story you see, for every find a news story at least once every week, right? Something that's happening everywhere, everybody's talking about it, and find 5 different sources talking about that. 5 different ones. We had to do like 3 for class. Every single week, we had to pick a news story, and we had to find at least 3 or 5 different news articles talking about it, and we had to write about those different perspectives. And I did not realize how big of a difference it could be for everything that's talked about. Most sources, first of all, in the news come from AP. A lot of them aren't even writing their own articles. They're taking articles and saying, oh, from the AP. You'll see that for like New York Times and other places, right? Some of the big ones. And also, especially now, you'll see more partisan reporting for particular issues. Fox News always gets brought up as a big offender of this, right? Particular story either won't be emphasized enough on some networks or the phrasing or writing styles will be different. So honestly, finding a story and examining that story from different news perspectives is going to be so helpful for you to learn what happens when a new news story breaks out. Because I'll see stuff that comes in about the current administration, and I still have to be skeptical about, okay, this is painting a very negative light on this guy that I already don't like and is probably up to some heinous evil shit, but I need to figure out if this is real, because I've seen people misreport information on my side of the aisle too, right? And it happens more than you might think on that as well. And that's when people get their sort of cynicism about the news. They say, well, it doesn't matter. How can you can't trust anything? It's not necessarily true. There are things you can trust, the processes that go into this, but it does mean you have to take a more active attempt. You can't have a passive attempt at absorbing information. If you're really committed to this, right, about not being in echo chambers and wanting to be more objective, wanting to be more open and understanding to what's happening around you, find multiple news sources for every big story that you read. At least practice it just for a little bit, and that's gonna help you. That's my biggest tip I could offer you about this, honestly. But I know Jim's got some stuff to say. What do you got, Jim?
I do two things actually. I will surf YouTube and news sites like Google News, etc., with my browser in incognito mode, so I'm not recognized. I don't have the cookies on there or whatever. Because one of the things, a friend of mine who is really, really big into politics and running political campaigns, mostly on the left, did a talk at the Human Society for Greater Phoenix, showing how the same article could have radically different headlines, and then the articles will also have radically different slants depending on who the target audience is, even though the articles are on the same topic. So surfing in incognito mode for news is a really good way to kind of make sure they're not tailoring stuff to you too much. But the other tool that I use more than that now is Ground News. And I hate to shill for somebody who is not sponsoring us, but Ground News just does a wonderful job of telling you what the biases are, presenting stories that are in the blind spot for both the left and the right, and then also telling you, what the factuality is. So it's a good tool for doing exactly what you want to do. There are probably other tools that do it as well. Ground News is the only one that I know of. And so that's a big part of kind of like my morning stuff.
I think
that I do.
So, sorry to interrupt you there, Jim, but on that note too, we're both talking about reading news. I think reading is going to be way more critical than watching news. I almost never watch news anymore. If I am watching it, it's somebody reacting to news, but I always read my news. I think that's a big critical thing too when you're doing these comparisons. And I, of course, and you should probably follow this too, I never ever share news articles on social media that I have not completely read myself, ever, because you will look like a fool, and you will realize that maybe the thing you're looking at is not the story that you think it was. That always happens as well, right? I mean, so reading stuff in full, honestly, paying for a news site, whether it's New York Times or whatever you're into, divest accordingly, right, according to your beliefs. But honestly, a paid news source is always going to have a higher quality information than just free sources as well. So that's something to consider. But yeah, it all comes down to, at the end of the day, for echo chambers, the biggest thing for me is the news. It's how people are interpreting the lenses of stories that come out about these kinds of things, because that is what drives our politics more than anything. So there you go, Caleb. That's us talking for a lot there. What do you think?
No, I absolutely love it. I mean, I've definitely looked at or seen enough ads for the Ground News, something I've been interested in. But yeah, I mean, I think you guys nailed it. I didn't want to take too much of y'all's time, but I just kind of had that thought that I wanted to get out there and hear that, the right way or one of the right ways to handle it possibly.
I love it. Any follow-ups? No, nothing. All good. You got your fill. Yeah, you got what you're looking for.
I think that's all good.
All right.
I feel great. I think you guys answered exactly what I was needing to know. So, again,
Thank you, Caleb.
you guys.